Fellow DJs, Ricky here with Breaking Your Barriers, coming to you with another tip that you're going to need regardless if you're a beginning DJ, experienced, or veteran DJ. The tip today will deal with adapters you're going to need, cabling you're going to need, and accessories you're going to need. Now let me go ahead and start with the accessories, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can through this because we've got a lot of things to cover, but this will be very beneficial for your business regardless if you're starting or you're very experienced. And if you're very experienced, I hope this helps you because you may or may not have all of these items. Me, when I DJ, I still find out that I still need some specialized adapters, plugs, or whatever it may be. So right now, let's go ahead and start with the accessories. First and foremost, you're gonna need extension cords rather. Now to make this thing even more powerful, sure, you can connect one thing to this and you're good to go. However, if you get this piece, which is only a few bucks from Home Depot, your one item can now take in 3 items. You don't have to plug in only one anymore. You can plug 3 things into this extension cord and it will take care of a speaker, an amp, or whatever, and you're good to go. Next item you're gonna need VGA cabling. And the reason why you're gonna need VGA cabling is because sometimes I do actually get requests for video or a slideshow and they need a projector. And that extension VGA has saved me on multiple occasions. So if you offer that kind of service, or if they bring their own projector, you're prepared. You already stand apart. DJs who are experienced and veterans, we know this is one of the most important things we need. That's right, gaffer tape. Please get professional gaffer tape. Do not get that Gorilla Tape crap because that'll make your cables really sticky and it might even mess up the tape of your client's walls or a facility's walls. Get professional gaffer tape because this here will keep all your cables down, and when you remove it, it won't be sticky and it won't destroy the walls. Gaffer tape, Guitar Center, or any professional audio outlet. This is one of the things I get asked a lot. Hey Ricky, do you have any charging cables so I can charge my phone? So always have this on hand because people are gonna be like, hey, can you please charge my phone? Because they see that you've got a lot of outlets or whatever. So bring this. Speaking about power outlets, make sure you have a power outlet that has enough plugs that will accommodate all of your equipment. And it looks something like this right here. You're also going to need this kind of a cable. And these are typically used for your effects lighting, unless it's one of those tiny little plug-in things. But typically for the bigger sized lights, you want to have these. For speakers, you want to have these. In case you break or strip or run over one of your power cables, you want to have this as a backup. Always have power cord as a backup because how close is the store to you when you're already at your gig? Probably not that close. Simple as this is, please do not forget to bring tie wrap. This is awesome. It keeps everything organized. You can find stuff easier. So when you finish tying up your power cables, your speaker cables, or whatever, use this. Keep it organized. And that concludes the accessories you're going to need. Of course, you can go as deep as needing speaker stand covers. I think they're called scrims or whatever, but that's completely up to you. These items, I believe, are very, very necessary. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our mandatory cables. And what I mean by mandatory cables, you need your cables for your speakers, you need your cables for your amps, you need your cables for your mixers. And I say mixers because you might have a DJ mixer and a sound mixer. So whatever equipment that you have, you're gonna need proper cabling. And these cables are, as example, XLR female, XLR male. This is typically used for your mixers, your amplifiers, your sound mixers, your DJ mixers. So whatever it is you're using, and make sure you know what kind of adapters or cables you're going to be needing, so you can choose the right kind of cable as well as the proper length. Now this is just for example purposes, and I didn't want to get too long of a cable. Once again, this is XLR female to XLR male. Very, very common. And we're going to get into the accessories in just a bit, because not all DJ mixers are the same. So XLR female, XLR male. Also, another very common one is for speakers and mixers and sound mixers, XLR male to 1/4 inch. Yes, very common. So once again, that depends on your kind of system. Now, if you're running an amplified system, you're going to need cables that have banana plug ends, like this. You're also going to need cables that have either bare wire or Nutric, or they're otherwise called Nutric or Speak-On connections, like this. So those are for amplifier run systems. Now, if you're running a powered speaker system like myself, you just have to worry about the XLR to XLR or XLR to 1/4 inch. So those are your primary foundational cables that you're going to need when it comes to running your system, and you're pretty much good to go. However, with the ever-changing tide of equipment that comes onto the market, you're going to be needing my favorite stuff, which is adapters. Now let's go to talk about adapters. This one is an XLR male to a 3.55 or a headphone jack. And the purpose of this thing here is if you want to connect this to your soundboard, not your DJing mixer, your soundboard, and connect this to your computer, connect this to your iPad, connect this to your phone. This is awesome to have because you'll never ever tell a client, oh, I don't have that song. Yes, you do. Why? Because your secondary system is now a phone. Tick, 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 YouTube, and you're good to go. Once again, depending on your mixer, you might need something like this. This is a female XLR to an RCA. Yes, I couldn't believe it either. Some of these systems still use RCA. For example, my Pioneer, I can't remember if it's an SB2 or SB3 or whatever that number and lettering is, but it's a USB powered mixer and it requires RCA cables. Now you can't connect an RCA directly onto your mixer unless you're using a tape in, which may not be very helpful because that would be controlled by the main fader. It may not have its own control for volume. Here, this is important because you can connect this directly onto your mixer once you connect this end to your once you connect this end to the DJ mixer, this end to the soundboard or sound mixer. And you're wondering, how am I going to connect this to the sound mixer if it is a female? With a coupler. This coupler changes your end from a female to a male. So you've just converted it, and you can plug it directly into your mixer, your sound mixer. I don't want you guys to get confused. Your sound mixer from your DJing mixer, okay? And it's more than a great idea to get a couple of these. You will get at least 2, 3, 4 of these couplers. Very helpful. But that's how you use this particular kind of adapter. Here's another variation of adapter, which is for connecting your computer to your mixer or your iPad to your mixer. Now this is same as the other one, except this one has a female connection end. And if you want to connect this to your mixer, in case this is the only kind you have, once again, that's the purpose of having adapters. Once you have this adapter, female, can be converted to male. Now you can plug this into your computer, your iPad, your phone, and you're good to go. So you don't have to get multiple cables if you already have an adapter. You can stick with this cable and you're good to go, but I still recommend getting more than one just in case this fails. And here's another variation of that kind of an adapter. Because if you're not connecting through an XLR, let's say all of your XLRs are taken up with instruments or guitar or something or whatever, and you don't have enough, you still have your 1/4 inches open. So you have a 1/4 inch to 3.5 headphone jack. And this will connect to your 1/4 inch, and this will connect to your computer or your iPad or your phone. But make sure it works, because sometimes they don't, and I've run into that a few times. So make sure you check that everything is hunky-dory and it's working for you, okay? So that's the purpose of having this particular adapter, 1/4 inch to 3.55 or headphone jack. Here, this comes directly from your mixer that requires RCA cables from, for example, my SB3, once again, it's an RCA cable run system. So how am I going to convert that? Well, that's the purpose of this particular Y cable. It takes your left and right channel, puts it into one channel, which is converted into a 1/4 inch. So you have RCA female to 1/4 inch male, which is awesome. So you don't even have to worry about converting it to an XLR or whatever if you don't have any XLRs open. This will give you multiple options. You're like, okay, well, all my XLRs are taken up. Plug this into a 1/4 inch. RCA female, 1/4 inch adapter. Now I just want to show this to you. This is just a 1/4 inch to a 1/4 inch. Turn it into a right angle just in case you're lacking space. So that's really cool. In case you can't have your cable sticking out like that, this here sticks it in, and then it gives you this much space that you can work with. That's the only purpose behind this particular thing. It's still very helpful, and it's helped me on multiple occasions. This XLR female to male is similar to what I just showed you with regards to saving space. Nothing different about this XLR compared to a straight one. The only difference is it's a right angle, so it saves you space if you're plugging it in. You don't have a bunch of cables hanging out or taking up a lot of space back here. And very helpful once again if you've got a tight container that's holding your DJ mixer. This is just a variation of RCA male to headphone jack. And this thing, you can connect this into your, you can use it for your, let's just say tape in. For example, if you want to use your tape in, you can use it for that and plug it in there and plug this into your computer or your iPad or your phone. Now, if it's not long enough, that's the purpose of having this kind of a coupler. This is called an RCA coupler. And of course, you want to have some RCA cable. This is just a traditional RCA cable on both ends. Now, it's expanded. And with some of the adapters that I just showed you, you can use this particular cabling as an option as well with some of your adapters. So your RCA turns into a headphone jack or a 3.55, and you're wondering, do I have to connect this into the tape in, or can I connect it directly into a channel? You can connect it into a channel by using this adapter, the RCA female to 1/4 inch. And now you're good to go. Now this particular adapter is very helpful for me because I don't like to run stereo channels. I don't have any purpose of running a stereo channel to even separate sounds, panning left or panning right when I'm DJing. So this makes it easier because I connect this end this end here into the speaker, and it takes both signals from the left and right of the mixer, turns it into a mono channel. So I do a daisy chain. I connect my mixer here. Well, it depends whichever side or whatever kind of end it is, okay? So here, let me give you a better example, because I have two of them. This one here is male, dual male to female XLR. This here is dual female to male XLR. And what this does, this is actually what I connect to my mixer right here. And it turns it into a single channel. And then I daisy chain off of each speaker. There's a throughput. So this connects to the speaker has a throughput, which it can shoot the sound into another speaker. And that's been very helpful for me. And I even do this as well. So if I want to connect both of these together, I can do that, make it into a single channel, or single mono signal. And of course you can do it this way as well. Depends on you, whatever your requirements are. Now this is just your traditional RCA male to headphone jack, or 3.55 millimeter jack. And once again, this is good if you're gonna connect your iPhone, iPad, or computer. Now here are some accessories that I didn't get a chance to share just yet. This here is a coupler. It's a female XLR, so it converts a male XLR. For example, here is a male XLR. It converts it into a female XLR. And that's very helpful for microphones, because microphones use female XLR. This is very helpful as well. It's similar to some of the stuff I just showed you. RCA to 1/4 inch direct, no messing around, just straight up. You want to get a few of these in case you're running a system that uses RCA cables. This bad boy is an XLR male and a 3.55 or a headphone jack connection right there. It's an adapter. And this is helpful for me because I use a wireless microphone that has this particular kind of a jack. Now some of the other microphones which are wireless, they use XLR as well as 1/4 inch. This particular one, it uses 3.55 or headphone jack. So it converts that signal from this to XLR directly into your sound mixer. I've used this particular one on different occasions. This is a female XLR to a 1/4 inch. In case I run out of mic space because I've got so many things plugged into my soundboard, this is what I use if I need an extra microphone, a 3rd or 4th microphone. Very helpful. Female XLR, 1/4 inch. And here's some very special mentions as well. In case, and this is important nowadays because some of the phones don't even have a headphone jack, it's crazy. You're gonna need this dongle right here. This is a Lightning to 3.55 connection. So you connect this to your phone's charging, and then you connect your headphone jack or signal into here, just like this. In whichever variation of 3.55. It could be the 3.55 to RCA, 3.55 to XLR, 3.55 to 1/4 inch. Whatever it is you're using, at least you have an option now. In case somebody says, hey, I want to connect my phone to your sound, I want to connect my phone to your sound system so that I can get this particular song. This, on the other hand, is a Lightning cable to USB. And you're probably not going to need this unless you offer, and you probably should offer since Zoom is very popular nowadays. You want to connect this thing to the phone or iPad or whatever, and then you connect this USB end to your computer. So you can see the people on Zoom. And if you watch one of my other videos, you'll see how to use computer with Zoom, and you can implement that service, or you can add that service to your DJing repertoire, if you will, your services, okay? Here are some other very important items you're gonna need. Since computers nowadays, for some reason, do not offer as many USB jacks as they used to, you can get these two things. A regular USB hub, which offers 4 slots for USB. This is just a regular USB expansion. This, on the other hand, offers 4 USB, but it's a powered USB. In case your equipment, for example, my mixer, it needs power. So this thing is a powered USB. It has a power cable. I just don't have it right now. It's somewhere down there. And you could turn each one individually on with these power switches. So have this on hand. Very helpful in case you need to plug in multiple things to your computer when you're DJing. This has been a lifesaver. This here is a USB sound adapter, because the computers of today, which I bought a computer recently, and the computer is great. It does what it has to do, but I hate the fact that they only give you one headphone jack, and it's a dual use headphone jack, either for microphone or headphone. I thought that was bananas. That's the reason why you want to have a USB hub in case you need to connect something like this, which gives you the headphone as well as the microphone. Now, I might have forgotten to mention this, but if you're going to be showing video off of a projector and you're still running the VGA kind of plug, you're going to need a VGA adapter to HDMI in case that is the kind of connection that they have. So make sure to have this kind of an adapter on hand. You're going to have multiple kind of adapters. The adapters that they use for Apple, as well as adapters that they just use for a TV or something. You're going to need multiple adapters, and you just ask your client what kind of plug is required for me to use my projector onto your computer, or from your computer onto my projector. So you find out if it's RCA, VGA, or HDMI, or one of those other weird looking plugs, optical. Find out and get the appropriate plug. And the last thing, very simply put, you're gonna need a 3-prong converter, which is just a plug that turns your ground into 2 prongs. Because sometimes you will run into that. I thought I wouldn't, but some of these places are old and they still require only 2 plugs. This here, get at least 4 of these. These are very cheap, like I think maybe less than $2. That's all you need. And that is it. And if you wanted to find out how you can connect your DJing system to Zoom so that while you're DJing and you have your guest in front of you, you have Zoom running in the background so that the guest from out of town can watch this special occasion, watch one of my other videos. If you need a link to that video, I'll go ahead and put it as the end link, or that you can click on. Otherwise, I hope this video helped you. Once again, beginner DJs, experienced DJs, and veteran DJs, you will need these plugs one way or the other, especially when this pandemic ends. I'm praying that we get a chance to party and get together once again. Have a great one, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.